Oh, fine. So tzad gimel base. Says the Mishnah. Shalech adam yerech levish kechavim. You can send a ganze leg, a ganze thigh to a guy. Shegid hanoshe b'seicha, even though the gid hanoshe is still intact inside, he never removed it. Why? Because everyone sees that the gid hanoshe wasn't removed. When you take out a gid hanoshe, like we said before, even the Manda Omar that you have to take out the gid hanoshe in an oila, that you can't be marked with the gid hanoshe. You can't take it out before because it's mamish, doesn't look nice. After you traber out the gid hanoshe, it's all cut up. It doesn't look nice. So you have to you can't bring that to the mizbeach. You have to bring it up on the mizbeach, and then on top you have to remove it and throw it into the ashes. But it's so noticeable when you remove the gid hanoshe. So over here, we're going to see that the chashash is that if you sell it to a guy, he might sell it to a yid, right? And if you don't take out the gid hanoshe, right? So then the yid might think that it's already taken out. But if you have a complete yerech, that you could see that the gid, no one traded anything out, it's complete. Right, and so Mamela, if you sell it to a guy, even if he continues to sell it to a yid, the yid will know that no harm would come because the Jew sees, we have to do nikur. Nikur wasn't done yet. Okay, so the Gemara is going to go into the details over here. It says the Gemara, Shlema in chatu choloi. It sounds like from the fact that it says yerech, you're allowed to send a yerech to a guy if it's complete, but if it's cut up, you're not allowed to. What are we talking about? Basically, they had places that were dominated by kosher meat. It was a kosher place, or a Jewish place. So you can even the goyim also used to sell meat. They used to get the kosher meat and do business and sell meat. But what would happen in a time? Maybe he's selling you treifa, right? So what they used to do is they used to be machris. There were certain places that would be machris and certain places that wouldn't be machris. Meaning, if all the butchers today they shechted it, if they found a treifa, right? So they would say, okay, they would make a big announcement in the whole city. I don't know exactly how. They would say, Rabbi, so we have treif meat. So Mamela, people would not buy from a guy because maybe the guy's selling a treif. But if there wasn't an announcement, right? So then you could assume that all the meat today is kosher. And even if a guy sells it to you, it's kosher because there was no treif meat in the whole city. The goyim aren't shechting on their own. There's not. It's all Jewish. It's all Jewish shechting. Mela, if they weren't machris, if it's in a place that there usually are machris, right? So then you know when they're not machris, everything is kosher. But if it's a place she'ain machrizin, it means that even if it's treif, no one knows about it. They don't let everybody know. So Mela, you can't buy from a guy at all. Right, because maybe it's treif. How do I know this guy's selling a kosher meat? Maybe it's treif. So it says the Gemara, "Ilayim b'makom she'ein machrizin," in a place where no one announces whether there was a treifa found today or not. So now the guy chatu chanami lishtalei.
The only supply is kosher. There's no gafra.
There's no achraza. No, but the idea is that you're allowed to sell him a yerach. Why? Because no one's going to make a mistake about the gid hanoshe. Okay, says the Gemara, even if it's cut up. So what happens? If something is cut up, someone might think the gid hanoshe is removed. If you have a cut up piece of meat and you send to a guy, so what? The ma'isa, no one's going to buy from the guy. Because in a place she'ein machrizin, you're not going to buy meat from a guy. Right? So therefore, chatu chanami l'shtalei, send him also a cut piece of meat. No one's going to come buy from him. In a place that in machrizin, no one buys from goyim. Ela b'makom shemachrizin. Ela, we're talking about a place of machrizin, a place that they are machris, and therefore in the place where everyone announces whether or not they found the treifa, so people do buy from a guy. You're allowed to buy from a guy because there's no chashash that it's not that it's treif. Right? There's no chashash that it's treif unless there's no chashash that it's treif, because if it's treif they would have announced it, right? So then Ela b'makom shemachrizin. So then says the Gemara, Shlema nami lishtalei, loy lishtalei. So what's the chiluk between having a big selling him a complete yerech, right, and or chatucha, right? Complete, we said you're allowed. Chatucha, you're not allowed. Says the Gemara. we understand that if you send the yerech and then he sells the yerech to a yid, a Jew will be able to see that the Gidan Asher is still there. He'll take it out. If it's chatucha, right, then he'll send it to a Jew, and the Jew will think, oh, the Gidan Asher was removed, all right, and that's a problem, right? But says the Gemara, even if you have a Shlema, maybe the guy's going to cut it on his own, right? Well, what did we say? You can't send a guy chatucha. He might end up sending it to a yid. Why? Because it's a makam shemachrizin. So people do buy meat from the goyish meat brokers, right? But if it's chatucha, then someone might think the Gidan Asher is not there anymore, and you're going to be machshel him to think, and he's going to eat Gidan Asher, right? But if it's complete, but if it's whole, then everyone knows that the Gidan Asher wasn't removed. It says the Gemara, the guy's just going to cut it up. You're going to sell him a yerach, right? He's going to cut it up, and then with the Gidan Asher in there, without removing it, and then he's going to send it to Yid. So why is it okay? It says the Gemara, Iba Yisema b'makom shemachrizin. We'll give a teretz. You can say b'makom shemachrizin, v'Iba Yisema b'makom she'en machrizin. Iba Yisema b'makom shemachrizin. If we're talking about a place that we are machriz, which means that people do buy from Goyim, right? So then, how come you send them only a shalem, only a yerach shalem? Because chituchat out kechavim made the idea. Meaning, we know if there's a certain Jewish way to cut. The Jews, when they cut things, they cut it a certain way, and therefore, when if you send him a complete yarech, right, and then he cuts it, the Jew who buys it will definitely be able to recognize that this wasn't cut by a Jew, and therefore he'll know to remove the Gidan Asher on his own. Okay, Rashi says that when Jews cut the meat, they cut it at the place of the Gidan Asher to remove the Gidan Asher, right? And you know, there's certain locations where the Jewish menachrim make the cuts, right? And therefore, if you see this nice, beautiful cuts of meat, you know that it wasn't cut by it was cut by a guy. And then you say, oh my gosh, if it's cut by a guy, that means that who said the Gidan Asher was removed, and therefore you'll know. Okay. But if we're talking about a place that we're not machriz, which means, again, we said, just to repeat the kasha, in machrizin, no one's going to buy from a guy anyway, because maybe it's treif, because they don't announce when something's treif, so then maybe it's something treif on the market, they sold it to goyim. How could you buy it from a goyim, right? So it says more. So if so you should be able to send him chatucha. Also, why dafka yerach you can't send him? You should be able to sell him even chatucha. So it says more. No, there's a gzera that maybe, even if it's in a place where in machrizin, right? But if a guy sees the kosher butcher selling it to a guy, he's going to assume that it's kosher. He's not going to assume that it's treif. He's going to assume that it's kosher, because look, the kosher butcher is selling it to him. It's coming from the good store, so he's thinking, oh, it's kosher, right? So you actually saw the kosher shaychet selling it to a guy, you're going to think it's kosher. Meaning, even though it's in a place she'en machrizin, but you would think this is an exception because I actually saw the kosher butcher selling it. I saw him giving it over, so I would think it's kosher, and therefore, that's why you can't
sell cut up.
That's why you can't sell a cut up to a guy, because if it's cut up, right, then he's going to think the Gidan Asher was removed. Okay. So I mean, the blatant question over here is that if this is a chashash shamit nenelay b'fnei Yisrael acher, so then, but maybe it's treif, right? Maybe it's treif, and it's why is the chashash only Gidan Asher? Maybe the whole thing is treif.
He's selling right.
He's selling his treif things, right? Right, exactly. So the Gemara might be talking about the Gemara. There's an opinion that holds you take an to sell treif. So mitzad the butcher, the Jewish butcher, he's not selling treif. So that's not a chashash. Only chashash is going to think that the Gidan Asher is not removed. Okay, we'll see. V'ibay same, or another approach, and once again in the makom she'en machrizim, mishum dikagoniv leila daite, because he's fooling him. He's stealing his mind, right? He's why the Amar Shmuel Asar Lignev Dasabris, meaning Avadi, you're right. Avadi, there's no chashash that this meat is going to end up by a Jew, and no Jew is going to think that there's the Gidan Asher was removed. But still, when you're selling it to a guy and it's cut up, he thinks, oh wow, I know that the Jews are menakrim, and they spend so much time investing in the piece of meat, and now he's selling it to me. Wow, it's chashuv, right? So now he's gonna feel like he owes you something, right? So you're sort of being going of his das by him thinking that it's kosher meat. Okay, that's the way Rashi explains. So the Amar Shmuel also lignav das abrius vafilu daita shalav gechov. Even the das of a non-Jew, you're not allowed to fool. V'had Shmuel lav beferish. This that Shmuel said you're not allowed to be going of das abrius was not said explicitly. Elam michlala itmar. We inferred it from the story. The Shmuel have a ka'avar b'mavri who was passing on a bridge. Amar le l'shameh, he told his assistant, paisel mabure. Give a tip to the guy who ran the bridge. So paisei v'ikpad. So he gave him something. And then Shmuel was makpid about something. Something happened and he got angry. He wasn't so freedom with what happened. My time ikbad. Why? So Amar Abai. Abai says because Tarnigolas treifa havoy, because he gave the assistant, the shamus, Shmuel's shamus gave a treif Tarnigolas to this guy. V'yavanile bimar deshchuta, and he gave it to him as if it's shachut instead of shchuta. Actually, says bimar is like lashon tmura, right? So bimar deshchuta. He gave it instead of shchuta. So he fooled him, right? Lamaisa, the guy thought that it was kosher meat. He's a guy, right? But still, he thought it was kosher meat, and still Shmuel got angry. Rava says anpika amar leilashkuye. Shmuel told him to give him anpika. Anpika is a type of wine that's that's very very meshubach. It's like I think they take wine and they mix it with other things, and it's very chashuv a drink. So Shmuel told him give him anpika, ve'ashkei chamra maziga, and all he gave him was watered down wine. Right. So in both cases. Rashi says anpika is pure wine as opposed to watered down. Okay, so basically the non-Jew thought that he was getting pure wine. Really, he was getting watered down wine. Right. So again, he was going to das abrius, and then there are two versions as to why Shmuel was makpid. Right, and both of them have an element of gnevas das, that the guy thought he was getting something that he wasn't getting. Okay, so two approaches. Now, says the Gemara, and it's the fact that you pointed out that it wasn't actually beferish said by Shmuel was only inferred from Shmuel's the fact that he was makpid over here. So what? What does it make a difference? Says the Gemara, according to the one who says the story was that he gave him a treif animal, Omar lei amai tishe isura. Meaning, maybe there's no issue of gnevas das at all, right? Maybe the whole thing was that Shmuel was makpid on his shamus. What are you holding on to a treif chicken, right? You shouldn't hold on to something not kosher because someone might come to eat it, right? So it wasn't that he was going of das. It wasn't. He's like, you're right. Of course, give it to the guy. I don't care if you give it to the guy and he thinks it's shechted. That's not the idea. The idea is why are you holding on to not kosher meat in your pocket? Whatever. What do you? Okay. So therefore, since it was mechlala, it wasn't beferish, maybe you could push off the proof. It wasn't, right? Shmuel didn't, maybe Shmuel has no problem with gnevas das. Or the man domer an, b'kamerlei, lashkuye, or the man domer that says that he told him to give him anpika is chaya mashma. So Rashi explains, because anpika is mashma yain chai, pure wine, right? So Shmuel's like, I told you to give this. Why'd you give that? I mean, not that it was gnevas das, but I'm your Rebbe. I told you to do something. I'm the master here, whatever. Why'd you give him that? I told him to give him this, right? So he was stam makbid on the fact that he didn't obey his request. Okay, so therefore again, it's not das abrius. But either way, we have a brayso. The Gemara is going to quote a brayso that does show the issues with gnevas das. So Tanya, or you Rav Meir, Oimer. Al Yisarav Adam Chaver Lusa. That's law. You shouldn't Yisarov means to plead. Like you shouldn't plead by your to your friend that you should eat by me. Invite him. You know that he can't come, right? So you know he's going away for Shabbos, and please, I would love if you come for Shabbos. I would love. You know he's not going away, so it's a false invitation, right? But the guy is mamish. The guy is very flattered. He's like, oh my gosh, you'll invite me, right? And now he's going to feel gratitude, right? So there's shilas of what exactly is the issue of Nevas Das. Is it just an issue of sheker, or is it even an issue of gezel, right? So. But it sometimes could be worth money even, right? Because, now you made believe that you like him so much, he's going to do a good business deal to you, right? And he's not going to do a business deal with someone else, he's going to do it with you, right? So these things are even shava kesef, right? So the shaila is it something that has toivas hano, or is it even just sheker? But either way, over here you see, you can't be going to das sabriyas. You shouldn't offer him a lot of presents. You know that he's not going to accept it. You know that he's someone who doesn't accept presents or whatever. Pinchas ben Yair, right? We saw Pinchas ben Yair didn't accept anything. You know that he's not going to accept presents. But still, you're offering, so he's going to feel gratitude. If you have Chavias, right? When you open up a new barrel for someone, it's a very chashuv azach, because barrels, once you open it, there's the time the clock is ticking, right? Because it's going to spoil, right? So if you open up a wine, if a guy comes and says, "Oh, for you, I'm going to open up a new wine barrel," right? It's a very chashuv azach, right? So he's going to feel all honored, right? It's an amazing thing. But really, you know that whatever's left, you're going to sell to the chanvani. You're going to sell it to the store, and the store is going to sell it within a day, whatever. So to you, it's nothing. It's not to you. Opening up this barrel is really nothing because you already sold it to the storekeeper. So therefore, so it's knevas that's unless he actually told him, look, don't look at this as a token of honor. Okay. And you shouldn't tell him. A guy wants to anoint himself with oil. He wants to smear himself, whatever. So you say, go into the room. I have a barrel of oil over there. Go use as much as you want, right? Tell him use as much as you want, and really there's nothing. It's empty, right? So it's empty. So he thinks, it's pumped empty, right? It happens to be that it's empty, right? But really he would have given, right? But really it's empty. You didn't mean to give him anything. However, im b'shvil kvaydai mutter. If it's for the kavod of the oreach, then it's mutter. Meaning, Rashi says that if you want to make other people think that he's very chashuv, like if the other people there and you tell them, go do this, right? So then it's worth it because the guy actually does get hana from it. Okay. Ini says the Gemara v'ha'ula ikla l'bei Rabbi Yehuda. Is this true? But that it's asur. Ula came to read this house, and he opened him a chavias that were mechurs lachanvani. So you see that he did do it. Didn't we say it's gnevas das? The Gemara says no, I do oidi. Whatever. He let him know. He told him, listen, this is sold goods. Ula was chaviv to Rabbi Yehuda. Even if it wasn't sold to him chanvani, he still would have sold it to him. So he still would have opened it for him. Meaning, even though technically over here it wasn't such an honor to open this up because he had sold it already, right? But he didn't have to let him know because he taka would have opened up a regular one. It wasn't gnevas das, right? It happens to be, you're right that it's not, but I would have opened it to you anyway, right? So it's not gnevas das. Okay, don't go to Beis Avel. And you have in your hand bottles that are swishing, meaning it's empty, right? It's not full, right? So I guess these people used to bring food to Beis Avel, right? And the Avel didn't check it right away, right? So you'd bring food and you would put it there. You would bring a bottle, and people think, he's bringing a full bottle, right? And really it's empty. Also, you shouldn't fill it up with water because you're fooling him that he thinks you brought wine and you filled it up with water or whatever, right? But if there's a chashuv guy from the city council, right? So then you Viter want to show that the guy's chashuv, right? You want the avel who's sitting there. and there's a city council person who's there, right? So now you're showing that this Avel is such a chashuv guy, the Chaver Ir, right, who has pulled in a lot of places, is going to think, oh, this guy's very chashuv. So you're actually doing him a favor. Okay. Taner Rabbanan. Lo yimkor adam lachaver sandal shel mesa. You shouldn't sell a person the sandal that's made out of the skin of an animal that died. Bichlal shel chaya shchuta, when meaning included as if it's coming from leather of a live animal that was shechted. Apparently, the leather that comes from the velas that an animal dies on its own is not as strong. It's not as good, and therefore he thinks that it's good leather, and you sold him a shoe made out of not good leather. Fine. Two reasons in this. Echad because you're fooling. The echad sakana, and one because taka there might be a sakana, because how does the animal die? Rashi says maybe he got stung by a poisonous snake or whatever, right? So maybe in the leather is still embedded some of the venom, and now you go rub your feet all day in these shoes, right? And you might be sakana. Okay, you shouldn't send a friend a barrel of wine, and there's oil on the top, right? Because he's going to think it's oil, right? The oil floats to the top. He's going to think it's oil, and really it's yain. You shouldn't do that. Yes, even if you don't owe him anything, even if it's not a monetary issue, but stam, you're fooling him by him thinking that it's fully shemen. I guess shemen was worth more. There was a ma'ase that someone sent to his friend, and there was oil on top. The guy thought it was oil. Because he had it, he invited a lot of guests to partake in the oil. And they came in, they found that most of this is wine. The whole thing is wine, and just shemen on top. So he invited all these guests for a shemen party, and there was nothing there. So he committed suicide. So you see what this. You see, he was so embarrassed that he had nothing to serve his guests. So he was. So you see what it could lead to. The ein ha'orchen, also another rule. Ein ha'orchen mashayin litan mimash lifneim livnoi ulbitoi shel balabayis. So if like let's say it's. You're sitting by someone, you're a guest by someone, right? And they put food in front of you, and you want to give it to the kids of the balabais, right? He's being mechabed you with food, but you feel bad. Either it's a time of a hunger or something. There's not a lot of food, and you know this guy doesn't have a lot of food, and you feel bad, so you want to give it to the kid. You want to give it to the kids, right? I don't need to eat. I want to give it to the kids. I had friends who went to Mei Sharim, right? These Sudas were invited by someone to Mei Sharim. There wasn't a lot of food. They felt bad. They're eating. The kids can't eat. So this is exactly what it's talking about. You're not allowed to take what's given to you and give it livnoy ulbita shel balabais. Elim can not lu rishus in balabais. Only if they ask rishus. Why? Because ma'aseh bechad shezim gimel orchim mishnem b'tzaris. There was a person who invited 3 guests in the time of hunger. He didn't have anything to put in front of them. Ella shalosh beitzim. He had 3 eggs. Right, so each guest got an egg. So Bob Noishel Balabais, the kid of the Balabais came in. So one of the guests, Notal Echad Mehem, Chelkoi, he took his egg, Vinasnalai, and gave it to the kid. V'chen Sheni, V'chen Shlishi. So Aviv Shel Tinek, the father of the Tinek, Motzai She Oizek Echad V'Viv. You saw he was stuffing one in his mouth, and he had the 2 other eggs. So he got all the eggs, right? So Chavtai Bakarka Umeis. The father pushed the kid into the ground, and the kid died. Once the mother saw this, also Lagag V'Nafla, she jumped off the roof. Umesa. Afu ala Lagag V'Nafla Umeis. So he also felt so bad that he jumped off the roof also. So you see what this could lead to, the embarrassment of what someone doesn't have to serve his guests. So therefore, don't give it to anyone. Don't give it to the kids. And this thing, three nefashos died. Makamash Balan says, well, what do you mean? We know, that's what it says. No, the Gemara says it's just the cooler Rabbi Elazar. It's teaching you that this whole story was set over by Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov. Tana Rabbanon. We're going to have a brisa here that's going to have three different cases, and the Gemara is going to try to figure out what we're talking about. Tana Rabbanon. Shalech yerach lachaverei. Shlema. You sent a full one in a tzarech she'it lamed gidan nasha. So if you send it to your friend, you don't have to. Right, you're sending it to a Jew, right? You don't have to take off the gidan nasha. Amen. Because the guy, you see that the guy sees that it wasn't removed. It's a complete error. Okay. Chatucha, but if it's chatuch, then tzarech lamed gidan nasha because he sees it cut up. You say, oh, the stomach of the gidan nasha was removed, and therefore he's going to eat it without taking it out. Therefore, you have to make sure to be the one to take it out. However, if you send it to a non-Jew, bein chatucha, bein shlema, whether it's chatuch, whether it's shalom, ein tzarech lital min gidan nasha. You do not have to remove the gidan nasha if you're sending it to a goy. Right? So this is unlike the diak we had from our Mishnah. Okay. Umipnei beis dvarim amru, and because of two things they said, ein merchim nevelos utreifus lev kechavim. So it sounds from here, you're not allowed to sell nevelos and treifus to a non-Jew, and there are two reasons. Echad b'pnei shemat eyu. One, because you're fooling him; he thinks you're selling him kosher meat. Ve'echad shema yachzer b'im Kerem l'Yisrael. Another reason, because you might end up selling it to a Jew. Okay. Yisrael acher, to a different Jew. Okay. Below yomar adam la'avid kechavim. Another case is you shouldn't tell a non-Jew kachli b'dinar zeh basar. Go buy for me a dinar of basar. B'pnei beis dvarim. Also two reasons. Echad b'pnei anasim, because sometimes non-Jews can be very forceful, and you sent him to the market. He'll go to the market and he'll force the guy to sell it without even giving him the money. That's what it sounds like. Yeah, I guess. Why doesn't he just steal your money? I'm not sure, right? But I guess he wants to be. He wants to be on your good side, but he doesn't care about the butcher, so he's going to steal the meat, not give the money, right? And then you'll be essentially stealing meat from the butcher. Also, you can't send him to buy something because they're going to see he's a non-Jew. You might not tell him that he's buying it for a Jew, right? And therefore they're going to end up selling him in nevelos treifus. He's going to bring you back home, not kosher meat. Okay. More. Now the Gemara is going to go through different cases. We said if you want to send an oived kechavim meat, bein shlema, bein chatucha, ein tzarech lital lamed gidan nasha. You don't have to take away gidan nasha. Says the Gemara, b'mayaskin and ilema b'makom shemachrizin. If it's in a place where everyone's machriz, whether they found a treifa or not, so in that place, what we do buy from non-Jews on a day that no one announced that there's something treif, you do buy from non-Jews, right? So then chatucha, amay and tzarech lital. Why, if it's cut, why do you not take away the gidan nasha? Kevin delay achruz, since no one was machriz, someone might come to buy from him, right? And therefore, if it's chatucha, and you didn't take away the gidan nasha, someone's going to buy from him because it's kosher, because no one was machriz that there was a treif today found, right? Someone's going to buy from him, and then so you have to take away the gidan nasha. Ella says the Gemara pshita b'makom she'en machrizin. So we're talking about makom she'en machrizin, so you can send a guy whatever you want, because no one's going to buy from a guy because it's a place that no one makes announcements. Ema mitziyasa. So let's see the middle case of the price. So now, pnei shnei dvarim amru ein morchen nevelos treifus like kechavim. Two reasons yalla sell it treifus. Echad pnei shematei. One, because you're fooling him. Echad pnei sheva yachtav in Kerem l'Yisrael. He might sell it to a Jew, a different Jew. The even makom she'en machrizin, says Gemara. If we're talking about a case where there's no hachraza, right? So then halo yasi lemizvan minei. Why is it a problem? Let me sell him nevelos treifus. No one's going to buy from him because no one buys from goyim. Ela pshit the Gemara says must be talking makom she'en machrizin. Okay. Let's see the last case now. You're not allowed to tell a non-Jew, buy for me meat with this dinar. Says the Gemara, if it's in a place where we are machers, if there was a treifa, if it's really chashash that this guy is going to buy you treifa, so then achruzi have a machers. They would have been machers, right? And from the fact that they weren't machers, why can't you send a guy? Send a guy to buy you meat. Right, and then from the fact that, send a guy to buy you meat, and then from the fact that they weren't machras today, right, you know that there's no treifa. So what's the problem? Ela pshita must be makom she'en machrizin. It's a place where no one's machras, and since no one's machras, you won't know if there's treif meat there or not. If you won't know there's treif meat or not, so therefore they might sell him treif meat. Says the Gemara, Reisha v'Seifa. So it comes out after we dissected the Brisa that the Reisha v'Seifa are b'makom she'en machrizin. Mitziyasa b'makom she'en machrizin. Does this make sense? How could it be? Why is it not consistent? Amar Abaye, yes, Reisha v'Seifa b'makom she'en machrizin. Mitziyasa b'makom she'en machrizin. He says yes, like Abaye does many times. He compartmentalizes the Brisa and says it's inconsistent. It's not inconsistent. Talking about different cases. Rava Amar Kul b'makom she'en machrizin. No, Rava says it's all about makom she'en machrizin. Reisha v'Seifa she'echrizu. the Reisha and the Seifa in the case where the Taka Machras, and since they were Taka Machras, right? So therefore, no one's going to buy from the guy. No one's going to buy from the guy on today. No one's going to. They're Machras today. So I say, oh, it's Treifa now. Today we don't buy from guy. So therefore, you're allowed to send them even Chatucha because no one's going to buy from the guy. And in the Seifa case, in the case of Machrizin, you're allowed to.
That's what in the middle they did, but they weren't Machras.
Mitziyasa, right? No, but what about the Seifa? The Seifa was the case when you sent him.
But they were Machras.
They were machras, and you're not allowed to send them. You shouldn't send them, right? We said you shouldn't send them to buy meat because they were machras today. They were machras today. They might sell them the treifas, so it works out very nicely, right? Mitziasa, he says, Mitziasa is a place where they usually are machras, but for some reason today they forgot or something happened and they couldn't be machras. Shelo yichrizu, right? They didn't actually be machras today, right? And therefore it's a place where everyone says, oh, there was no achrazah, we're going to buy from a guy. Right? People
do.
They know, yeah, because normally they do make achrazas, right? But today, for some reason, Rashi said there was an oines and they couldn't be machras, and since they couldn't be machras, therefore everyone's going to buy from a guy. Therefore, you, the butcher, knows that there's an veilus and treifas that no one knows about, so you can't sell it to a guy, right? So it's Avad that's talking about a place that we are machras. Right, but the Mitziasa case of the Brisa is talking about a case when they for some reason couldn't be machras, and therefore people are going to buy takan of treifas from a guy. So it's a problem. You shouldn't sell it to a guy. Rabashi Omar, Kula b'makom she'en machris, and he goes the other way. The whole Brisa is talking about a case she'en machris. So now we understand why the Reisha and the Seifa, right? The Reisha you can send them what you want because en machrizin. The Seifa. Ein machrizin, you don't know if this treifas or not. They're going to sell it to a guy, right? The mitziyasa, if it's a makom shein machrizin, why can't you sell it to a guy? No one buys from a guy. Ein machrizin, it might be nevelas to treifas, right? So the Gemara no gzeira shemin Kerem b'fnei Yisrael. Like we said before, there's a gzeira that maybe someone's going to be in the shop and see you, the butcher, sell nevelas and treifas to a guy. Now you didn't say he wasn't kosher. The guy's going to think, oh, it's regular kosher meat like everything else, right? And then because this Jew sees you selling it to this non-Jew, right? So he's going to buy from him, right? He's not going to think that's nevelas and treifas, and therefore that's a problem. So Rashi just points out that Rabashi he's not choishesh that you might sell a chatucha case, right? The Reisha was a case when you're allowed to sell a chatucha to a non-Jew, even though there's no gidanosha. What do you mean? Didn't we say before that some hold that there's a gzeira? Right, the Gemara had a possibility, there's a gezerah, that someone might see you sell this chatucha piece to a non-Jew, and he'll think that it's kosher and is going to end up eating the gidanosha. Right, so Rashi says no, that is not machmer for, because in that situation it's much more isolated. It's one guy selling one piece that doesn't have a gidanosha. That's more isolated. That we're not choshesh for. Only in this case, the general rule of whether we sell nevelas and treifas or not, that we will be machmer in this situation. Okay. Either way, the Gemara continues. Heichi machrazina. How are you machraz? Omar Bitzak Bar Yosef Nafal Bisra Livnei Chela. You say basar for the strong ones. I guess Bnei Chela, right? Basar for the strong ones fell to us, and that's like a euphemism for Avdei Kachavim. That's the way we're machraz to everyone, to let everybody know. Amar Bitzak V'leima Nafal Treifta. Why don't you just say a treifa fell for the non-Jews? Bnei Chela sounds like it's a reference to the non-Jews. I don't know why, because we want to make them feel good, so we call them Bnei Chela, that they have chayil, they have strength. Do they explain? Huh? Okay.
They find
How do they translate it?
Oh, they translated general population. You talking Chela? You talking about?
Yeah, Chela means general
population.
Okay. Like kol chel pare, maybe. Okay, like the army. Okay, I don't know. Fine. So either way, so in fact the Gemara, why don't we just say it the way it is? Nafal treif shel bnei chela, right? It's treif. The Gemara says no, lo zavni. They're not going to buy it. They're not going to buy it. They don't want something that you rejected, right? They're not interested. So you can't say treifa. It says the Gemara, vakamatilu, right? So didn't we say there's a problem with nevas das, right? And you're now saying that you're not saying that it's treifa. The Gemara says no. Inu hu dikamatu nafshayu. They are fooling. They are being mata themselves. You're not being going to das. You just said that there's basar for the populace, right? There's basar for everyone. There's basar even for the non-Jews, right? So now you didn't tell them that it's kosher meat. right? You just didn't tell them that it's treif. If he's going to think now that it's kosher meat, that's his problem. I never said it's kosher. Okay, so and now the Gemara is going to bring precedent that this type of reasoning isn't gnevas das, this type of case. Ki hadam Marzucha b'Rav Nachman, have a ka'azul misichro le'bei mechuza. Marzucha was going from sichro to b'ei mechuza. V'Rav Safra have a ka'azul l'sichro. They were going the other way, right? So pagu ahadali, they met in the middle. So who savar Marzucha thought la'apehu dika'asu. Oh, he thought, oh my gosh, they're coming to greet me, right? They're giving me such cover. They're coming to greet me. Amar luhu. So they told him. So he told them, why do you have to, no, you don't need to come greet me, so you're going to come be tarech so much to greet me, you're going to come out all the way to greet me. Rav Safra, so Rav Safra told him, he says, I didn't know that you were coming, right? But if I would have known, I would have gone even more. So Amarli Rava tells him back, my time Amart lehachi dachlishte ledaite. Why did you tell him this? Right, we came for you to make him feel good, right? Amarli vakamatinale. So he told him back, no, but then I'm fooling him because it's not true, right? So Ihu hu dikamati nafshe.
You didn't fool him. He
fooled him. Right.
You just played along.
You just played along. You didn't fool him. He's the one who fooled himself. Right. It means you didn't have to tell him. You didn't have to tell him that we weren't coming for you. You let him think that. Let him think that you're coming to him, right? And then Ihu dikamati nafshe, and that wouldn't be gnevas das. Okay.